Hello, I'm Michaela, and this is my September wrap up and October TBR. The first thing that I managed to read was Magana by Maria Headley, and this is about a young girl who is unwell and has serious breathing problems and ends up in a new world about 100 pages through the book. And I gave this 3 stars on Goodreads, and I thought it was just okay, but I found it I didn't find it confusing, but it wasn't explained very well through the book, so I think that's part of the problem with this one. The next one I DNF'd, and that was 1,000 Nights by E.K. Johnston, and it was absolutely terrible. I didn't find it interesting at all, which is a shame because the cover is beautiful and you kind of want the content to be just as good. The next thing that I read was Deception Point by Dan Brown, and I gave this 3 stars, I think, as well on Goodreads. I thought it was alright. It could have been a little bit better, but being one of the first books Dan Brown had wrote, I thought it was pretty good for one of his first tries, and I'm gonna try and read Digital Fortress at some point before the end of the year as well, and then I'll have read all of his books. The next thing I managed to read was A Slippery Slope by Lemony Snicket, which is part of a series of unfortunate events. And I found this one to be the best one in the series so far, and I think if they were all written like this, then all of them would get 5 stars. The next thing that I've put down as a DNF on Goodreads, but I do plan to finish it at some point, and that is A Feast of Crows by George R.R. Martin. I've only managed to get 200 and something pages in, and it's very political and very heavy and very hard to get through. But I don't want to feel pressure from myself by keeping it on Goodreads, so I'm just going to try and get a few pages in here and there with this one. And I do have the audiobook for this as well, so it will make it a little easier. But so far I find this one very slow and very boring, and hopefully I will eventually get through this one. The last thing I've got is The Woman in Cabin 10 by Ruth Way, and I've only got about 50 pages of this left to read, and I'll have finished it by the time this video goes up. And I don't know if I'll do a review on this yet. It depends if I like it enough, but so far I think it's really good, and I'm hoping the ending isn't going to be too bad. And I think it's probably going to be a 4 or 5 star on Goodreads, depending how the ending of this one goes. So for my October TBR, I'm going to try and get through 3 things, if not more. And the first thing I've got is a Stephen King book, which is Bag of Bones. And instead of getting some short stories from Stephen King, I've just decided to jump into the deep end and go for one of his chunky books and hope for the best. The next thing I have is The Good Girl by Mary Kubica. I'm not sure how to say that, but I don't really know anything about this, and all I know is that it's a thriller, so hopefully it's going to be okay for next month to read, and hopefully I like this one. And the last thing I've definitely got to read is the next series of Unfortunate Events book, which is The Grim Grotto, and hopefully this one's going to be as good as the last book. And again, for October, I hope I'm going to get some single issue comics in there from The Walking Dead, and that should kind of build up the numbers of books that I read next month. And thanks for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed the video today, and comment down below if what you're going to be reading for the month of October.